So on Tuesday, I made you sit through a discussion on what is quite possibly the worst movie ever made. And as an apology, we're gonna talk about good things. We're going back to the TV show, the wonderful Avatar: The Last Airbender TV show. We're gonna talk about the characters, we're gonna rank them in a tier list. So for this ranking, it's not gonna be an exhaustive ranking. I'm not touching every single character that's ever been in Avatar, but I'm gonna talk about our main crew, specifically Team Avatar, as well as everybody that gets a good amount of screen time. 12. We have 12 characters here. I'm going to show you my tier list. So for some reason, I'm not able to remove tiers, or maybe I am and I just don't know what I'm doing. So the bottom tier doesn't exist. That NA doesn't exist. Our tier ranking is fine, incredible, perfect, and Iroh. There will be no negative tiers here because there is no negativity in this incredible show. So I just have our main characters here, and this does randomize it for me when I dump all the images in here. And we're starting off with one of my top 5 characters of the entire show, and that's Azula. I love Azula's character so much. She is the embodiment of a character that has deep-rooted hatred and darkness in her from a very young age. But as we continue to see her arc, and specifically her undoing, we see how much turmoil and depth is within her as well, because this show will never give us a character and leave us with one layer of them. There will always be depth beneath them. And there's so much for Azula, especially when we see her falling apart. We see her insecurities, we see her fears, we see so much to her. Azula is perfect to me. Next we have Katara. And I've never been Katara's biggest fan. I don't dislike her. In fact, she is the main character in some of my favorite episodes in the series. One of the 2 episodes that had me absolutely bawling was centered around Katara, the one where she seeks out the man who killed her mother. But she's just not my favorite character. She's very naggy, and she tries so hard to be the mother figure, but half the time I'm just like, Katara, just let them go. Just let them do their thing. I do like her. I just don't love her. I'm putting her in incredible because I really do think she's an incredible character. And for me to have criticisms like strong, I don't know how I feel about you, you're still incredible, because there's not a character in this series that I don't love, but she is of the cast. She's just not my fave in Team Avatar. Now we have Toph. I have heard that Toph was supposed to be basically that big, what was his name? The character that Toph challenges when we first meet her and they face off in the arena. That was supposed to be Toph. She was supposed to be this big brute of a character, and instead they chose this little blind girl with so much power behind her, and I love that they went in that direction. I love that Toph sees with her feet. I love Toph's childlikeness and her innocence and her love and her grumpiness. Toph is the most lovable brat I have ever met. She is so hard-headed and argumentative and wrong so often, but will not admit it most of the time. And she's so lovable. I love every scene she's in. Toph is indisputably perfect. Then we have Sokka. Sokka was my favorite of Team Avatar in season 1 and remained up there. I think Sokka and Toph are probably tied as my favorites of Team Avatar. Sokka is the best kind of dorky. He is goofy and silly and tries really hard to be funny, and half the time it's so bad that it's funny because it's so bad. But he also wants so badly to be the leader of the crew, and at first he's terrible at it, but his arc is so satisfying where he learns his way of being a leader. He's a strategizer, he's a problem solver, and he's really good at it, but he's not the kind of leader that he always envisioned himself being, and that took some acceptance on his part. The depth of his character, the beauty of his arc, it was a more subtle arc than some of the other characters got, but it was one of the most satisfying ones to me. I saw so much potential in him in season 1, and I was so satisfied with how it happened in season 3. He's not just the comedic relief. I have so much love for Sokka's character. Even his arc and his romantic life, between his falling for Yue and then after her sacrifice, his struggle and turmoil, and the way that flowed over into his relationship with Suki, how he became so overprotective and had such a hard time moving forward. And then that just his arc, personally, romantically, just everything about Sokka's character is perfect. Next in line is Ty Lee. I love Ty Lee so much. Ty Lee, I believe, isn't a bender, but she has this horrifying ability to block chi. She can hit you in the right spot and completely remove your ability to bend or just human. And it's horrifying. And with this terrifying power that she also has this carefree nature, this simple joy, intentional naivety, sweet, flirty, cute nature that is so frustrating paired with the power that she has. And her arc as well is beautiful when she sides with Mei instead of Azula, which is the beginning of Azula's undoing. I can see how bad it hurts her, and I did not see it coming. And it was, ugh. I think that any character that doesn't end up in the perfect tier is going to cause outrage, but here it is. I love Ty Lee so much. She is incredible. Next character is Appa. And I love Appa. I personally, within my media, don't care to have animals there. In a show, in a movie, in a book, I don't care to have animals. I don't know why. I have a cat. I like animals, but for whatever reason, in shows and movies, I don't care. However, Appa won me over. The relationship and love between Aang and Appa is beautiful. The devotion of Appa and how much he gives and how much he lends to Team Avatar is fantastic. And that episode, Appa's Lost Days, or short story, Appa's Lost Days, was a little bit too much for me, honestly. It hurt too deep. All of season 2, in fact, hurt too deep. I love Appa. He is an incredible character. Next we have Iroh. I wonder what I'm gonna do with him. Iroh is the best character that's ever been created, full stop. His love and devotion for Zuko went so much farther than I ever expected it to. I knew he loved Zuko, but I didn't know until season 2 or 3, I can't remember now, that I just assumed that Iroh was a bad guy too, but a good bad guy, good-natured, kind, lovable. But it wasn't until later that I realized that Iroh doesn't even believe in what Zuko is doing. In fact, wants him to stop. I could see Iroh's mentoring and redirecting, but it wasn't until after season 1 that I realized he doesn't even want Zuko doing this. He doesn't want him to hunt down the Avatar. He doesn't want him to feed his anger and hatred. He doesn't want him to win back his father's favor and rule the Fire Nation the same way that his father has been. Iroh's just that devoted to Zuko that despite not believing in what Zuko is doing, he's coming along with him. He's supporting him while also mentoring him and trying to redirect him. He sees the potential in Zuko. He sees what Zuko could become, and he wants so badly to feed that and to bring Zuko into a better place. Iroh also so much emotion wrapped up in him. We of course have Iroh's short story, which I'm not talking about right now because I can't do it. We have the fact that Iroh tells Zuko that he's like a son to him, which such an emotional scene. And of course we have their final reunion in season 3 when Zuko says, "How have you forgiven me?" And Iroh says, "I wasn't mad at you. I was sad because I thought you had lost your way." And there's too much emotion wrapped up in this character. It's not true. There's not too much emotion. I appreciate how much emotion is wrapped up in it, but I don't appreciate that it's hit me so hard that I nearly cry every time I think about a few select scenes with him. There's no character I love more than I love Iroh. And I understand, I appreciate that Zuko got to finish his arc without Iroh. I think that actually made Zuko's arc more satisfying for him. And I understand that they had to have so little of Iroh in season 3 because the voice actor had passed away. But I am still sad that he got so little screen time in season 3. Now let's talk about Mai. Oh, do I love Mai. I loved Mai from her very first scene. I love those characters that are so ambivalent and don't care and emotionless. I don't know why, but it's this specific kind of I don't care, not the I'm trying to be cool, but I just genuinely don't care. I love that personality so much. I love Mai. But I also kind of like that Mai isn't really ever loyal to a cause or a nation, or she's never really actually good or bad. She's loyal to people. She was loyal to Azula until Azula went against Zuko. Then her loyalties changed. She went to the good side. She's fighting for the good guys. But it's not because she's good. It's not because she believes in the good cause. It's because she's loyal to Zuko. It's an arc that I kind of saw coming with Mai. I didn't expect her to betray Azula, but I did see from the start that Mai she didn't care about a cause, she cared about people. And I did see it coming after Zuko changed that she might change sides too because of her love for Zuko, but I thought it would bother me, and it didn't. It fit perfectly for her character. I love Mai. I'm having a hard time deciding if she's in the incredible tier or the perfect tier. I feel like I should be a little bit stingy with my perfect tier. So I'm going to put Mai in incredible, but I'm gonna put her, I'm gonna put her at the front of incredible because I love her so much. Now we have Momo, the one character I'm putting in fine because I don't care. Momo, I know, again, every single time I don't put a character in either perfect or Iroh, there will be outrage, but Momo is a character I just don't care about. He's fine. I don't dislike him. He's fine. Now let's talk about Suki. I love Suki. I love Suki and Sokka together. I'm not a shipper, and I think pretty much every time characters get together, my reaction 90% of the time is, I don't really care. But I love Suki and Sokka together so much. I think they complement each other so well. I love that Sokka, especially in season 1, has quite the ego, and Suki knocks him down, but in this really humble way, and in a way that, especially after the first couple of times, Sokka is just really okay with it. Their dynamic is perfect because, especially in the beginning, she's a much better fighter than him, but she likes to encourage him and build him up and teach him, and he becomes a great fighter to where they could really stand side by side fighting together. And the way they work together and the way their personalities, I wouldn't think that Suki would be into Sokka because she's so incredible and Sokka is so goofy, but her love for him is so sweet. I love the way these two are together. I love how Suki is as a character on her own, and I love who she is complemented next to Sokka. She's just, she's so strong and she's so sweet, and I love her. She will be incredible because I'm trying to be picky with my perfect tier, but I'm putting her at the front end of it. I guess if I'm ordering the tiers, I should probably pay attention to the perfect tier too. And I think if I were to arrange the perfect tier, I would arrange it more like that. Ooh, or would I arrange it like this? No. I would arrange it like that, I think. Now we're to Zuko. Zuko is the best redemption arc I've ever seen done, bar none. I knew Zuko was getting a redemption arc when I started the series, and it didn't spoil the redemption arc for me because it was so well done that it was perfect. There was turmoil, there was internal struggle, there was backsliding, so much backsliding. There was an attempt at goodness only to take many steps back and to attempt again, and then true goodness not accepted by your peers because of all the things you've done, and it's not so simple. Everything was done exactly right. I was constantly surprised. I kept thinking, oh, here's his arc. No. Oh, here's his arc. No. And they took their time with it and they made it perfect. There's not a thing I would change. It's exactly as it should be. I've never seen an arc done so well as Zuko's. I knew it was coming. I knew people hyped it. I knew people loved it. And I still was so surprised by it. Oh my goodness. Zuko, such a satisfying character. If anyone deserves to be in the Iroh tier next to Iroh, it's gotta be his nephew. Best relationship in the series, this uncle-nephew relationship. Best arcs, well, okay, best arc and just best character in general. Just best. All right, now we'll talk about Aang. Calm down. Aang is a character that I love. I felt neutral about him in season 1, but he definitely won me over. Childlike, fun-loving, peacemaker. I loved Aang's devotion to people, his devotion to friendship, his belief in his cause, and yet his insecurities and the amount that he had to work in order to gain his skill. And I was really satisfied with the final episode in season 3. I was really satisfied. I didn't know how they were going to handle his turmoil of how he was going to be able to defeat Ozai while still maintaining his beliefs. And I think the way they handled it was really satisfying. I know there's a little bit of controversy about it. I know some people don't love it, but I really did. I love that Aang always stayed true to himself while also always growing. Now the question is, do I put him in perfect or do I put him in incredible? Because I do love this character very, very, very much, but I do not love him on the level that I love the perfect tier. So I'm putting him in incredible. I'm putting him at Move May. I know you thought you were gonna stay there. I did too, but Aang proved me wrong. He definitely deserves a very high place, but this is my ranking. My top 5 Avatar characters are easily Iroh, Zuko, Sokka, Toph, and then Azula. Those are my top 5 favorite Avatar characters, but there's not a single character that I would rank, even if I did a full character list, which, I mean, this video is already long and I only talked about like 12 characters. But even if I did a full cast ranking, there's not a single character that I can think of that I would put any lower than fine. I love this show so much. I love these characters so much. I just didn't expect to love this show so hard and hate that movie so much. I got the graphic novel in the mail, so more Avatar content is coming. I'm going to be reading through the first huge graphic novel right away, and we will be discussing as I read through those, and I'm so excited. I love this show so much. Be sure to chat with me in the comments about how you would rank things. What would you do differently? Who are your top 5 Avatar characters? I post videos every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I'll see you guys again soon.